Hi, Peter Charles here, folks, fly fishing. And I'd like to talk to you about one of my favorite rods. And this is a little bit of an unusual one. It's the ShoreStalker 8-foot 5 weight. It's a short little rod. And it kind of unusual. In fact, most people, when they're talking about 5 weights, they think of 9-footers, even 10-footers. So why would you go out and get an 8-foot 5 weight? That's a little odd. Well, the most common reason would be it's a good boat rod at 8 foot. It handles fishing off of a boat quite well. It's also a very good small creek rod. So if you're fishing for smallmouth bass in a small creek, it'd do a wonderful job. But there's other aspects to it as well that are quite cool. I've used it to teach children how to fly fish. When I was doing a lot of this instruction and teaching people who've never touched a fly rod before, I'd be dealing with, say a father-son combo, and we'd fit them out with rods and waders and what have you and send them off into the Grand River, and we'd teach them how to fly fish. And I found that, kids had difficulty with 9-foot rods, but an 8-foot rod is just enough of a difference that they could handle it without worrying about their wrist. And the other thing which is kind of cool about this rod, it has a little tiny fighting butt. So a kid could grab hold of the rod like this and fish it with two hands with no trouble. So it worked out quite well. So if I had like a small 8-year-old or 9-year-old, I could get them to cast like this and it worked just fine. Now, I know the wheels are turning and you're going, that's a lot of rod for, to get for a kid. But there's something to think about here. When you're dealing with a rod like this, if you've got a child who's very, very serious about fly fishing, this rod will grow with them right into adulthood. You can use it. If you bought a kid's rod, you wouldn't use it, would you? But you can use this one. And it has many, many purposes. I mean, small streamer rod is an example for trout. It says warm water, ShoreStalker, but let's get real. We can easily use this as a small streamer rod. Especially when you're casting all day, having a shorter rod. I've often worked with shorter rods in the past. I actually had a special order rod made for me about 20-something years ago that was an 8-foot 6-weight. And it was done that way strictly to cut down the workload when I'm streamer fishing, because I'm casting sinking lines, 50 feet, 60 feet at most. I don't need a 9-foot rod. An 8-foot rod really cut down the workload. I can work a stream, and it could work quite accurately too. So think of it in these terms. It's a multi-purpose little rod. It's a joy to cast. It has a relatively moderate action. One of the things I like about it is that it gives a lot of feedback back to you, which is always interesting in a rod. And it's very good when you're teaching somebody is that they get that feedback. They can feel what's actually happening with the rod. It spay casts extremely well. I know pretty well any fly rod can spay cast, but it does it so easily with that moderate action. It really does feel, with that sort of progressive, right down to the butt type bending, it does feel like a classic old two-hander, the way they just bend when you get into them. And this one does the same thing. It 50-foot spay cast, no trouble. So it can be quite useful in those tight stream situations where you don't have a lot of room behind you for a back cast, and you need to pop off a spay cast even with a bass bug line. This is the Kelly Galoop streamer line I've got on it right now, and I spay cast this thing. So you could be surprised what you can do with it. So if you're looking for a boat rod, a rod for a child, small streamer rod, whatever you're thinking of, and that you need something around a shorter 5-weight, give this rod a check out. It's really a good little value for its performance, and put a smile on your face when you fish it. Cheers.